Oh, Kenneth, you are a bright, sunshiny day for us. Thank you. That was awesome. I love it. So great way to start the day. Thank you. So having the permission of some of you fabulous people who called me this week, I would like to bring to light a few things. I had calls stating with great insistence, we have got to get this man out of office. But then I also had calls stating with great insistence, we've got to keep this man in office. So let's take all of this into our unity teaching, shall we? First of all, we believe that everything is energy. The way you feel is energy. The way you think is energy. The way that you are on planet Earth is energy. And all things in the universe are constantly in motion with energy, with vibration. And energy has its own frequency at various levels, if you will, of frequency. So it energy either resonates at a high feel-good frequency, or maybe something in between where there's just a neutral feeling, or energy resonates at a lower frequency that doesn't feel very good. So now let's talk about the energy of insistence. Insistence is resistance. As soon as you make something conditional, you are lowering your frequency. And the biggest clue that you have is when the ego physical mind may think it knows what the outcome should be, but actually it has no clue as to what the best outcome ought to be. So if you insist on something looking a certain way, you might be closing the door on something that the universe has planned that is better than what you could possibly ever imagine. Now, some of you have said, but it just seems like everything's so out of control. Planet Earth is out of control. I'm out of control. And I say, you can feel out of control, but you are controlling that. And I would suggest that we go into a state of humbleness enough to know that you actually don't know what is best, but higher mind does. And that's good news, my friends. Higher mind does. The universe does. God does. So trust. And let higher mind do its job and work together, not in insistence of a certain outcome, but just to let go, work in partnership. There's a story about a bus driver who was driving some senior citizens to Las Vegas, and about 20 minutes into the trip, an elderly woman comes up to him with a handful of almonds, and she says, would you like some almonds? And he says, oh, yeah, I am so hungry. Thank you so much. And so she goes back to her seat, and after 20 minutes, she returns with another handful of almonds. Here, I have some more almonds for you. Would you like some more almonds? He said, oh, yes, these almonds are a lifesaver for me. I didn't get a chance to eat earlier. So, well, now this happens 8 or 9 times, and he's just munching away. And finally, he said, so why aren't you eating these yourself? And he said, well, we're all so old and our teeth aren't very strong and we really can't chew these almonds. But we love sucking the chocolate off of them. Ew, right? Ew. You see, we don't have the whole story. We only see part of it. He only had part of the story. The only thing he saw was this kind lady bringing him some almonds. So let me ask you, I'm glad you laughed, because let me ask you, where were you when you were laughing? Was there a slight moment where you were completely connected to spirit when you were laughing? Yes, indeed, you were. Laughing is a higher frequency, my friends. And in Unity, we teach principles for you to stay on that higher frequency. Now, here's a statement for you. Those who lose the power to laugh lose the power to think. Think about that. And if I could put it another way, the smartest people that I know are the funniest people I know. And why should that be? Well, for me, the answer is that seriousness is not the correct response to the wackiness on planet Earth, to the wackiness that we see in our lives. And there can be quite a bit of wackiness in life. Have you noticed? The seriousness of being insistent. Remember, insistence is resistance. The seriousness of being insistent on a certain outcome only brings resistance and tension. Therefore, there is a most effective way to relieve tension, and that is that we can step back from our only point of view of insistence and engage in the miraculous mechanism of laughter. So there is this man who is dying in his bed at home, and he smells this fabulous smell, this aroma that's coming from the kitchen. And I mean, it is sublime. It is the smell of his favorite chocolate chip cookie. And with his last strength, he gets out of bed and he goes over to the kitchen where his wife of 50 years is baking these beautiful chocolate chip cookies, and there on a plate is a stack of warm, just out of the oven chocolate chip cookies. And with his last strength, he reaches over to take a cookie, and his wife sees him, and she rushes over to him, and she slaps his hand, and she says, "No, those are for the funeral." So you see, stories like these take a normal life circumstance and give it another perspective, right? We don't know everything. Everything has a different perspective, with an unexpected twist. And then spontaneously, we laugh. We open our mouths, our chests fill with air, our bodies do something utterly extraordinary. And we make a noise that is individual to each person, laughter. And laughter is weird, right? But we all do it. A study found that people laugh 7 times. They laugh 7 times for every 10 minutes of conversation. I thought that was pretty extraordinary. It means we're pretty good people on planet Earth. That being said, our lesson today, the foundation of our lesson today, comes from the writer of Proverbs, where he said, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit," somebody that's just serious, dries up the bones. This ancient writer of Proverbs knew that it has what has taken medical science a long time to discover, that laughter is a healing medicine for our bodies, for our minds, our souls. Personally, I think it's genius what we have going on inside. We have this built-in healing system called laughter, and it helps us to shift perspective and to relieve stress and anxiety like nothing else. And it also helps you to unhook from maybe an insistent perspective. Therefore, I would like to share with you the scientific findings with what this inner healing system of laughter, what it can do. Truly, after looking at these findings, I think it's just a brilliant system. It's a gift from God that each one of you have. So our physical bodies, this is what happens for our physical bodies, the benefits of laughter. Number 1, laughter relaxes the whole body. It's a good, hearty laugh relieves physical tension, stress, leaving your muscles relaxed for 45 minutes after a good laugh. So just that laugh alone, 45 minutes later, you're still going to be feeling pretty good. Laughter actually boosts the immune system. Laughter decreases stress hormones, increases immune cells and infection-fighting antibodies, thus improving the resistance of any kind of disease. Laughter also boosts T cells. T cells are specialized immune system cells, just waiting for your body to have that activated. Laughter activates those. So next time you feel a cold coming on, just put, a chuckle next to your healing system, if you will, right? Laughter triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals. And this can relieve you from temporary pain. Or temporarily, it will relieve you of pain. Laughter protects the heart. I love this. Laughter improves the function of the blood vessels and increases blood flow, which can help protect you against a heart attack or cardiovascular problems. And so now on the emotional level, that's just the physical level. On the emotional level of our health and well-being, there are specific findings of laughter dissolves distressing emotions, which will allow you to make better decisions. Anybody want to make a better decision in life? Chuckle for a little bit before you do. Laughter helps you to relax and recharge. It reduces stress, increases energy, enabling you to stay focused. Laughter shifts perspective, as we know, allowing you to see situations a little bit more realistic and less threatening in life. And as you know, laughter makes you feel good because it makes you resonate at a higher level of frequency. And that good feeling that you get when you laugh remains even after the laughter subsides. And that is why laughter yoga has become so popular. Because even in the most difficult of times, a laugh can go a long way to make you feel better. Now, I hope you will agree with me in this next statement, and that is, seriousness is dangerous. Not just personally, but even for society. And why should that be? I think it is partly that the forces of seriousness or being humorless would limit us to narrow-mindedness, rigid beliefs, cruelty, tunnel vision, whereas humor helps us to have an open mind. It obliges us to empathy and compassion and forgiveness. Humor always forgives. Now, I get that there are days that just get worse and worse, and something then crescendos. There's this last straw, if you will, and all you can do is laugh, right? And that is your built-in healing system. Have you ever had days like that where it's just one thing after another, and then something happens, and it's like, okay, I might as well just laugh about this. Well, about 10 years ago, I was having one of those days, and nothing was going right. And then I experienced the last straw, and it was one of those things where all I could do was laugh. So here's the background that led up to that day. You see, there was this lady who has since passed away in the congregation who was a kleptomaniac. And so she would take things from our elaborate bookstore at the time and then take them to the church down the street. And then equally, she would take things from that bookstore and bring them to our church. And so once a month, the minister and I, we would have lunch together and exchange things. And we'd go, okay, let's see, this one belongs to you. We sold this one for you, and so forth and so on. And this actually went on for a couple of years. And then one day, Steve and I are in a store. So this was my bad day, right? And he thought, well, maybe I'll take Cathy shopping or something, make her feel better, and because things just were not going well. And so we go into this store, and I see her roaming around in the store. And I said, oh no, she's gonna steal something. And I thought I'd better warn the owner about this lady. Now, mind you, really, I'm telling you, this was a bad day. So I asked if I could talk to the owner privately for a moment. And I took him over to the corner and I said, now, I need to warn you about something. that lady over there, she tends to steal things, and you might want to keep an eye on her. And he said, which lady? And I said, that lady over there. And he said, that lady over there? I said, yes. He said, that's my wife. It was a very awkward moment. Talk about a bad day going worse. And I'm glad that you laughed, because I went over to Steve and I told him what, it was one of those, you don't know whether to cry or laugh. And I was like, and I told him, and he just burst out laughing so hysterically that I started to laugh, and it magically changed my day around. Laughter changes things, my friends. That experience allowed me to relieve a ton of stress that I had been going through. Life is too short to be serious. Now, the relationship between seriousness and humor has long been understood. Winston Churchill said, "In my belief, you cannot deal with the most serious things in the world unless you also have an understanding of the most amusing, the most humorous." The civil rights activist Clarence Darrow said, "If you lose your power to laugh, you lose your power to think." And these two men were dealing with politics at a very high level, and they knew very well that sometimes only humor can break down the entrenched positions and rigid theology or ideology. Now, that being said, in March of 2016, Steve and I canceled our cable TV. And the reason being is that serious campaign commercials at the time and serious negative news felt kind of assaulting, right? We would be watching something positive, and then out of nowhere, we would feel attacked, like our senses were being attacked, and we couldn't get to the mute button fast enough, right? And a dear friend of ours, who is most wise and I believe a very high being, said at the time, he said, "Media will feed your belief systems on fear-based reality that will make you think that you can't change, that you don't have the power to change. And the question is, will you choose chaos and fear, or will you surrender and make a higher choice?" And he is so right. Have you noticed how serious media can be? And they want to enroll you in insistence. Remember, insistence is resistance, my friend, and resistance is a lower frequency. So we made the higher choice, and when we canceled our cable, we noticed this sweet vibration of peace that just came over our household, because we had the news on from a lot of the time. And laughter then became prevalent in our home. And we were able to get through that campaign year with great peace in our hearts. So here we are at the beginning of a campaign year. Here it is, January. And I would suggest not taking anything too seriously. This year, consider removing insistence from yourself and insistence from others, possibly through television, because you want to see multidimensionally from different points of view. And isn't that who we are here at Unity? We accept all points of view, all races, all ways of being, all ways of all cultures. We accept everyone. We are unity. So you want to see multidimensionally of different points of view, and to relax into just trusting that higher mind actually does know what it is doing. And so the moral is that life is too important to be taken seriously. Life is a spiritual path that should be enjoyed. You see, without laughter, the spiritual path would be boring, and spirituality was just never intended to numb anyone into submission. Its lofty purpose is to raise our spirits and to raise into a higher level, into that feel-good frequency. And if you take a look at the word spirituality, it comes from the Latin word spiritus, which means breath of life. Have you ever noticed that when you laugh, you gasp for air until you find your breath? Laughter forces you to breathe and to breathe deep. Now, it doesn't happen at every service, but very often there is joyful laughter that is heard in this church. And it is a laughter that is at no one's expense. It's a laughter that raises the level of holiness and connection in our gathering. And as much as singing and praying brings us together, laughing is a bonding agent. It binds us together in one mind. So when you make someone else laugh, it's not a trivial thing. You are an inducer of hope. You are an embracer of strangers. You are an eradicator of hopelessness. Because for the most part, people nowadays are uptight and frustrated virtually about anything and everything, being late, getting stuck in traffic, witnessing someone look at them the wrong way or say the wrong thing, paying bills, waiting in line, cooking a bad meal, you name it. It's easy to lose your perspective over it. So if we can be in a funk for no reason, then we can also laugh for no reason. And it's always your choice. And when you do, when you choose laughter as your higher frequency, you return to the flow of life that carries you past your fears and your insecurities back into your deepest, joyful, true nature. So just in case, if you came here today feeling a tad bit stressed, what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a laughing meditation. Are you guys game for that? We're going to elevate our frequency even more. And this is one of my favorites. And all you have to do is just look at the monitors and let the alchemy of laughter do its magic. Because a cheerful heart is good medicine.
Oh mon Dieu, c'est quoi ça? Oh mon Dieu! Et tu fais pas ce
And there you have it, my friends. So hopefully that raised the frequency, right? And to that we say, amen.